back to our online classes. So, as you all know that we have started the second term syllabus and the first unit, the first chapter in that, the living organisms and their characteristics and habitats. So, in the previous class we have discussed about some of the characters, means the living organisms. So many regions are there on the earth. So some of the places they were hot and some of them are humid and some of them are snow covered, like the climatic condition is very cold. So like that climatic conditions are there, but at all the climatic conditions, every region is having the organisms. So organisms, they are the living creatures. So the plants and animals, so they all are present in all the kind of environment. Whatever it is, either it is a cold or hot and dry or humid. So in each and every place, the organisms are there. So we have discussed about that. There may be a difference. The plants which are present in the cold regions, so they may not be present in the hot and dry areas or in the humid region. Or the animals and plants which are present in the hot and dry regions, they may not be present in the cold and humid areas. But each and every climatic conditions, they have their own, means the creatures, the living creatures, the organisms are present in all the type of climates. So about this we have discussed in our previous class, and now we are going to discuss about the adaptation and habitat. So now we can discuss about the habitat and adaptation. What is habitat and what is adaptation? So about this we can discuss in our today's class. So we have discussed in the previous classes, right? So and also you have filled the table also at 9.1. So there we have find that different regions, the forest have different animals and plants, and the cold regions have different plants and animals, and hot and humid means the deserts have different plants and animals, but still each and every area is having, the region is having the organisms. And if you come to the humid regions, there the animals are present in the saline water. Yes, the saline water means it is the salty water. Okay, so there if we take the example, so in the water, so the sea means it is the saline water, so salty water, because all the rivers and whatever the water sources are there, they finally reach the sea and then the oceans and all, and then they carry different various kinds of minerals with them. So by the mixture or by mixing of all those minerals, the water gets saline, means it is the salty water. And then also different kinds of organisms we can see. For example, fish. Yes, the fishes are present in the water. So how they will live in the water? So every time they live in the water, means all their life they live in the water. So how can they live in the water? So see, for that their body structures are also helpful and the organs. So that the living organisms means, you just tell me the common characters of living organisms. So you know about the differences between the living and non-living things, right? In the previous classes you have learned about this, the living and non-living things. So now just recall the common characters of the living things. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಅಥವಾ ಎನಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಈಗ ಜೀವಂತ ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತಾವೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬ್ರೀತ್, they can move from one place to another place, they need food, yes, and they react water, right? They will live in the water, and to live in the water their body structure is very helpful, that it is having streamlined body. The fishes have streamlined body, means here it is I will draw the diagram of fish. So it will be like this. Yes, it is just I am drawing a rough diagram of the fish. Yes, it is having the fins like this. Okay, this is the fish, and it is having the streamlined body, and its body is somewhat more slippery, and if you touch the fish, you cannot hold it in the hand, it will just slip, because its body is modified like that, so that the water, even though it stays in the water, the water cannot retain on the body of the fish. And also it is the streamlined body, the structure, it is thin at the two ends and is thick at the middle. So likewise its body shape is there. So this will help the fish to live in the water. And it is having the fins to move. It is having the tail, and this will helpful. It is very strong and it will helpful in the changing directions and all in the water, because it moves in the water. So its fins help to move and to change the direction. And here it is having the gills. Okay, these gills are the organs for breathe. Okay, we breathe through the lungs, and we have nostrils, through that we inhale the air, and lungs are there in the chest cavity, so by that we breathe. To breathe, it is having the organ that is called gill. Okay, so here the gills are there. So when the water, they are present in the water, and water is having some oxygen which is dissolved in it. Water is oxygen. So oxygen is dissolved in the water, and these fishes, they will use this oxygen which is dissolved in the water to breathe. And for that, the gills are helpful. So here what happens, always its mouth is open and water is continuously flowing, and here the H2O, the water formula is H2O. Here it is having the oxygen, and this will break down here, then oxygen is used to the respiration, and the remaining things are eliminated out. So likewise it is breathing. So this is what it's how it will live in the water. And if we see the deserts, okay, if we see the deserts, there commonly what we find, which animal, if you remember the desert, which animal you commonly remember? Yes, it is the camel. We usually remember camel when we remember the deserts. Okay, what is the climatic condition in deserts? Yes, it is hot and dry. The climate of the desert is hot and dry. So here this camel is a common animal here, and this is called as sheep of deserts. The camels are called as the sheep of the deserts, because we used to travel through the camel there, and the climate is hot and dry. Then how these animals are living in these climatic conditions, with this hot and dry climatic conditions? So if you see the picture of the camel, or if you see the camel, the most commonly structure you can remember that it is having the long legs, right? The camel is having long legs. Legs are very long. From the ground to its body, the distance is more. prevent the hot of that sandy soil. And it will excrete very less urine. Excrete less urine. Urination is very less here. So if it is more, what happen in the urine? The water will get releases. So it will releases very less urine, so that the water will not be lost by its body, so that without water it can live for long period of time. So that is one reason. And also it will release dry dung. It will release the dry dung. The waste what it is releases, it is dry. It is not having any water content in it. So by this what happen? This can stores the water in its body for a long period of time, because we know in the deserts there is very little rainfall, or we can say no rainfall. No rainfall or very little rainfall takes place. So they will get the water in the only the places where, what we can call as the oasis. Yes, the oasis are the places where we can find the water in the deserts. So camels, since these camels are living in the desert, they will get very less amount of water. So that what happened here, they will store water in their body and they use it in the days when they are not getting any water and all. So that when they are excrete less urine and when they releases the dry dung, the water content is remain in their body only. So that the camels, they use their water for the further uses. So only these two were given in your textbook, but likewise many other animals are also there. For example, we can see the polar bears, right? This is about the camel, and we discussed about the fish. So that is what the fish is present in the water, and the camels are present in the deserts. Likewise in the cold regions. So the polar bears, if we go to the cold regions, polar bear. So these polar bears, they are present in the cold regions. So there the climatic condition is very cold, and actually these polar bears, so how they are? They are white in color. Yes, they are white in color because its fleece, means its body hair are white in color. But actually the polar bear is having black skin. The skin color of the polar bear is black. Actually, keep it in mind that polar bears, they look white. They are white in color. But that white color, what is that? That is the color of its fleece. Body ಮೇಲೆ hair ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? White ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. But ಅದರ skin ಏನಿರ್ತೈತಿ? Black. The skin color of the polar bear is black. So this skin, the black skin, help to, means it is of the fat layer. The skin is of fat layer, and since it is black, it can absorb the heat. We know that the dark colors can absorb the heat. So since the skin of the polar bear is black, it can absorb the heat, so that its body, it can retain its body warm, and it is having a very sensitive, it is having a strong sense of smell. So even though its prey is 30 meters long distance, that then also it can recognize the prey, the presence of prey. So likewise, this is what the polar bear which is adopted, and also its claws are very strong, so that it can hold the ice, because it is living in the cold region, means their ice is present. So it have to walk on the ice, so that it have the strong claws, so that it can hold the ice. So this polar bear. This is about what the polar bears, and also since its hair color, its fleece color is white, so the prey forest areas, so the grasslands, the lions we see in the grasslands. So their body color and the grass color is somewhat same. So that we can say as the camouflage. So since it is similar, the body color and the grass color is similar, the prey cannot identify the presence of those animals, and they can easily hunt the animal. And even though they are having the retractable paws, so that they can come very slowly without the sound, so that they can hunt the animals. So likewise, so where they are living, they have certain modifications in their body. And also you might have learned about the chameleon. Yes, did you heard the name chameleon? This is the animal which is present in the forest, and also this the one of the most interesting character of this chameleon is it can change its color where it lives. For example, if it is present on the leaves, what is the color of the leaves? Yes, it is green color. So the chameleon take the green color. Suppose if it sits on the branch, so it takes the color of the branch. So like that, it's likewise the characters are there. It can change its body color. So likewise, all the animals where they are living, they are habituated to that certain areas. Okay. So we saw that the polar bear. Polar bear, it is living in the cold regions, but if it comes to the plain areas like where we are living, so it cannot live because it is habituated to that climatic conditions. It cannot live in the plain regions. And suppose if the fish, if we take it out from the water, is it live? No. So because it is living in that water and it is its body structure, it is helpful to live in that regions. So likewise, the certain features which animals are having normally, the presence of specific features or certain habits which enable an organism to live in its surroundings is called adaptation. So what we are going to discuss is that only. Yes, your heading is habitat and adaptation. So we saw that all the living creatures, we explained about the camel, about the fish, about the polar bear, about the chameleon. So we saw all these animals, they living in particular climatic conditions. So that is what we call as the adaptation. So what it means by the adaptation? Just take the definition. Adaptation: the presence of specific features, the presence of specific features or characters that enables an organism to live in its surroundings. To live in its surroundings is called adaptation. Is called adaptation. Okay. So adaptation, how can we define this? The presence of specific features or characters that enables an organism to live in its surroundings is called adaptation. So we saw many animals like the polar bear, and even you can take the penguins also. They also live in the cold regions. And we explained about the camel, we explained about the fishes. So every animal is present in the different climatic conditions, but they are all having specific features that enable them to live in its surroundings. The fish is living in the water because it is having some specific features to adopt in the water. And the camel is living in the deserts because it is having specific features to live in the deserts. So likewise, this is the definition of the adaptation. The presence of specific features or characters that enables an organism to live in its surroundings is called adaptation. Then what is the habitat? Yes, the habitat. The habitat can be defined as the surrounding where the organisms live. The surroundings where the organisms live is called habitat. Now the surroundings where, for example, the fish is living in the water, then water is the habitat of the fish. Camels are living in the deserts. Deserts are the habitat of the camel. And polar bears are living in the cold region, and those cold regions are the habitat of the polar bears. Likewise, the surroundings where the organisms live is called habitat. Where the organisms live, that place we can call it as the habitat. And sometimes see the plants and animals that live on land. So for example, now we said that the camel, polar bear, so they are all live in the regions, but they are live on the land. So the animals which are live on the land, they are called as that is the habitat. The animals, if they are live on the land, then it is called as terrestrial habitat. And suppose if they live in the water, then what we call them? That is aquatic habitat. Okay. So in the habitat only, again there are two types we can say. Habitat are of two types. One is terrestrial habitat and another one is aquatic habitat. Terrestrial habitat and aquatic habitat. So terrestrial habitat means here the animals that are live on the land. Animals that are live on land. So that is called as terrestrial habitats. And aquatic means animals or the organisms. Organisms that live, organisms, we can use the organism. Organisms that live under water. So that is called as aquatic habitat. So the most convenient word we can use. The organisms that are live on land, that is the terrestrial habitat, and the organisms that are live under water, they are that is aquatic habitat. Okay. So this is what the habitat. And in the habitat, the living things are also there and non-living things are also there. The elements, there are different elements are present in a habitat. So some are living and some are non-living. So if an habitat, the living elements of an habitat are called biotic elements. The biotic elements are the living elements or living components, and non-living elements are called abiotic elements. Abiotic elements. The living components like any organisms we can take, the animals and plants, so they are all living, so they are the biotic animals. happened there previously, so when we climb the mountains or when we there in the cold regions, when we go to the cold regions, so we are living in the plain regions. So suddenly if we go to those cold regions, then we have to breathe very fastly, and to that cold climatic conditions and the food habits there. For few days what we feel that we feel uncomfortability for few days, so that we take the measures how to overcome those all. But after that what happened, we will adopt to those changes. Yes, we can modify ourselves to those, we adopt to those changes in few days. So such changes which takes place in a single organism within a short period of time to overcome the problems, so that we can call as the acclimatization. Okay, acclimatization. So what is that? The small changes that takes place in the body of a single organism. So we can say that acclimatization. These are the small changes that takes place in the body of a single organism, over short periods to overcome small problems, to overcome the problems due to changes, to overcome small problems due to changes in the surroundings, to overcome the small problems due to changes in the surroundings, is called acclimatization. Okay, the small changes. Okay, so I said the instant, when we are living in the plain areas, suddenly when we go to the cold regions, so there the food or the climatic conditions we are not overcome when we enter there, but it will take few days to overcome all these problems. So some changes takes place. So those small changes that takes place in the body of a single organism to short periods to overcome the small problems due to changes in the surroundings is called acclimatization. Okay, so I hope you understood this, and with this I will conclude my today's class. And even though if you have any doubts on habitats and adaptations, you just contact me and clarify doubts, and tomorrow in the next class we can continue with the remaining section of this chapter. I hope you have understood this. Thank you. Have a